Hey team, welcome back. So where we left things is that we already almost wired up, or actually we did wire up the entire add project function. And at this point we can add a project to our database, and we can also get some of the errors, right? So we are right here, and I think at this point we have completed the cycle of this initial use case. So now we're at a point where if we try to submit bad data, we do get the errors black and white. And also if we submit good data, Heroku project, React, and whatever description, then we can go into our localhost 8080/h2 console and actually run a query, and we can see that we are actually able to create a project. So this is all working great. And in this lecture, all I'm going to do is that I'm going to style this a lot better to actually make it more like our actual example in the that we have on the cloud, which actually turns red, as you remember. Actually, I'm not sure if we want to go there and take a look. Actually, why don't we? Just so you guys know what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna go to the app. I'm gonna go to the dashboard, create a project, and then we're gonna implement this, right? That they go away when we refresh, and that they actually give us a warning here. This looks a lot better than what we have right now, which is just this black and white error message. Okay, so that's all we're gonna do in this lecture, because in the next one we're gonna start wiring up the dashboard. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do towards this is we're gonna stop the server. We're gonna type npm I for install Classnames. Okay, npm install Classnames, and I'm just gonna verify that in my notes real quick. And yes, it is Classnames. Okay, plural. Classnames, just like this. And this is going to install a package, which is a package that we're going to use to set up some conditionals in our input fields, which is going to enable that dynamic display of errors that we just looked at. Okay, so give me just a second, because I just want to see what branch I am in, because remember that I'm actually doing some branching for you folks. There you go. I'm in master. Perfect. All right, so quit. Okay, npm start. Perfect. And now that we have our application running, I'm going to do the run through the package.json, and as you can see here, we have Classnames 2.2.6, and again the same recommendation as always. If you're in a newer version, make sure that it works, and if it doesn't, then you either have to force the previous version or do your own research. Of course, I'm gonna keep updating the course, but if you get to this before I do, then just be advised that you're gonna have to do this on your own. Okay, so now in order to display the errors just like we have it on our example, we're already extracting the errors from the state, which is good. This is what we need. And then this is how we're going to use Classnames. Okay, so we're going to start with the input field on the input field for our project name. Okay, so what we're going to do is that here on Classname, okay, here on Classname, we're going to wrap this with parentheses, and then we're going to wrap the whole thing with curly braces. So far, so good. Then right here, we're going to, by the way, before we even do this, we're going to stop right here, and we're going to import Classnames, because we actually brought in the package, but we still need to import it. Okay, sorry about that. Import Classnames from Classnames. Okay, and I promise I'm gonna do a better job at sticking to my notes rather than trying to because I get excited and I just want to get coding, and that's where I start overlooking my notes. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this step by step. Okay, so now that we have our import, class names, we're going to go to the class name on the project name input field. Okay. And what we're going to do here is that, again, we're going to surround the class, the Bootstrap class, we're going to surround it in parentheses. And then right outside of the parentheses, we're going to type class names. Just like this, all lowercase. Okay, so basically what we're saying is that this is the initial class that this input field is always going to have, the form control large. Okay, then we're going to put a comma here and another set of curly braces. And basically what we're saying here is that we're going to add to the class the is invalid class, Bootstrap class, whenever there are errors in the project name. Okay, this is basically what we are saying here. And I know that this syntax is a little bit weird, but trust me, this is exactly what we need to do. And I think I'm just missing one curly brace here. Let me just check real quick what it is that we're missing here. Okay, I know what's wrong here. I'm just gonna start all over again because I don't want you guys to be confused. I really don't. So basically, again, this is all surrounded with curly braces. We have class names here, then we have the parentheses, and in this parenthesis is the standard class that's always gonna render. Okay, what this means is that you're always rendering this class, and then the conditional actually starts here. Okay, inside of the parentheses, not outside, which is the mistake that I made before. And we're gonna do this here. Perfect. And now we have the right syntax. Let me just get rid of that dialog there. And again, curly braces, parentheses. Inside of the parentheses, comma, another curly braces, and then in this line we're gonna do the syntax is invalid. And then errors project name. And all you're saying here is that whenever there are errors in the project name, because remember, this is going to be null if there aren't any errors when you try to submit. But when you try to submit, and if there are errors, then we're going to see that ugly black thing that we put there before. So now when you see that error, then what you're going to then add the is invalid, which is a Bootstrap class. You're going to add that to the entire class name for this input field. And with that in place, if we go back to our application, and if we try to submit now, then we're going to get our input field surrounded or in red, right, with the red border, which is great. Now let's take care of this one. And for this, we're also going to use the syntax that comes with class names. And this is also very simple. Okay, so right at the end, remember, right at the end of the input tag, remember the input, which is this element here, is surrounded by this div. Okay, and this is one of the cool things, and I think all text editors do this for you. If you click on at the beginning of the div, it's gonna tell you which one is the last div of this group, right? So it basically, this is all encompassed in this div right here. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of this, and then we're going to open one set of curly braces, and then we're gonna do a syntax that is very similar to an if statement, right? And then we're gonna do the same thing, errors dot project name, and then we're gonna use and, which is gonna be our if statement, if you will. We're gonna create one set of parentheses here. Okay, so far so good. And then we're going to use emit, and we're gonna do div dot invalid dash feedback. And for those of you that don't know emit and why it's so useful, this basically creates the div element with the class name invalid feedback. And then here we're going to open another set of curly braces, and then we're gonna do errors dot project name, which is basically going to display in this div the message with the class name invalid feedback, which is also a Bootstrap class. Is invalid and invalid feedback, these are two things that you can actually go check out for yourself in getbootstrap.com. Get Bootstrap. Let me see. I just want to show you this because this is not a Bootstrap course, but I mean, you can go on their documentation is invalid, and I believe that this should take you to, yes, it should take you to where we got this from. I literally got it from here. All right, I was looking on clever ways to display this, and I literally got it from here. And then class names, I literally learned in one of the many courses that I took in JavaScript, and one of the many documentations that I read on my own while learning this, and that's where I got this from. All right, again, there's like awesome people out there that always have like really cool examples for you to learn and build upon, so you can build applications like this one. So with all this in place, now we should be able to go to our application and actually do the same thing, and there you have it. Nice and beautiful. Okay, so this is where I'm stopping the video. Yes, this is what I'm stopping the video, because this should be good practice for you. All right, all you have to do is do the same thing for the other input elements that actually have validation, and then just make sure that you're linking it to the right attribute. So if you're gonna do copy paste, just make sure that you're using project identifier, and just make sure that you're using description. And of course, I'm gonna finish this on my own and commit it to the branch. So if you run into any problems, go check out the branch for this video. Other than that, you should be completely capable of doing this on your own. I wish you good luck. Come back to this if you have questions. Remember to npm install class names, and remember to import it. Other than that, you should be good on your own. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lecture.